The Democratic Party and their defunct presidential nominee, Joe Biden, really think you are stupid. That's it. And I have all the examples to show how this radical approach with riots and violence is absolutely nothing new. I'm Katie Petrick, and this is Healthy Republic. Are you stupid? If you've looked around and seen the insanity that is happening in major cities across the country, and you think it's actual insanity, then you probably have a working frontal cortex. But between the Democratic politicians and the media, they are trying to convince you that you are the idiot for wanting the riots, looting, and violence to stop. Example A.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Over the course of the daytime hours in Kenosha and into the early evening, which were largely peaceful demonstrations in the face of law enforcement. It wasn't.
And please, show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do you disavow the violence from Antifa? That's happening in Portland right now? There's riots.
That's a myth that's being spread only in Washington, D.C.
About Antifa in Portland?
Yes.
Sir, there's videos everywhere online.
We take an oath to protect and defend the Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic. And sadly, the domestic enemies to our voting system and our honoring our Constitution are right at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue with their allies in the Congress of the United States.
At least they're at their jobs, which reminds me, it's time for my non-union break to drink from this sweet vessel of freedom. But more on that later. Back to how Nancy is all busy getting her hairs did up all nice, while some people look like Sasquatch because their hair salons aren't allowed to actually operate in her dumpster city of San Francisco. But for Nancy, who gives a damn about rules? All for me, ice cream included, and none for thee. And Nancy, when you get caught red commie-handed, your chompers actually claim to be the victim.
So I take responsibility for falling for a setup. And that's all I'm going to say on that.
Old Biddy needs to go home, like to Sunnyside Acres or Oak Ridge Gardens type home. Meanwhile, here's what's actually happening in our streets, like the ones represented by the likes of the Nancy Pelosi's of the world.
Just threw something on fire, Chris, a firecracker. Yep. Something's on fire.
What an elderly woman has to do with anything and why she needed the bird flipped at her is beyond me. But since she was coming from the White House, most clearly she is the spawn of Satan. All of this type of behavior, and much worse, has been going on for literally months now in these Democrat-led cities. So naturally, they blame it all on the big orange mad who is so bad that he is the baddest of the bad. It's all his fault that this is happening. But when he wants to actually come to assess what's happening and meet with civic leaders, they instead say,
"How dare you?
I am concerned your presence will only hinder our healing.
How dare you?"
Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Kaul, who is a Democrat and who is leading the state investigation into the Jacob Blake shooting, also tweeted the president should hold off.
When President Trump is gone, and newsflash, it will happen one day or another, then who are they all going to blame? Will they even remember who they blamed prior to Trump? Like back in the day when they loved and adored the Donald? Again, they think you are stupid. But it's nothing new. None of it is new. And I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about in the video I am releasing after this one. Check it out for a history lesson and a wake-up call about how we saw all of this 50 years ago. But back here in the degeneration that is 2020, our radicals are the Black Lives Matter organization, and they are blunt in about everything they do, including saying exactly what they want to do and will do, and what they are working to do.
I want to take the fight to them. And at the end of the day, if they ain't gonna hear us, we burn them the down. I'm one that talk real shit. I talk it in New York, and I talk it in D.C. The same way I police up in New York, I cops up here in D.C. The same way I bust police in the head in New York, I bust police in the head in D.C.
That this is being said, that this is being cheered on, that our representatives are allowing and encouraging it, that our media is making excuses for it. That's what should surprise and scare you. Instead of action to stop it, we have to hear from the likes of Democrat Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler. He too hates the president and would rather, and has allowed, for the burning of the city he swore an oath to protect. And then he actually had the balls to say the violence is Trump's fault.
Do you seriously wonder, Mr. President, why this is the first time in decades that America has seen this level of violence?
Fact check. False. Check out my next video to see all about how the radicals would rather things blow up. I'd say it'll be a barn burner, but too many things have burned at this point.
It's you who have created the hate and the division.
Who created Black Lives Matter? Who created Antifa? If Trump created them, then he's in charge of them. Let's logic this one. You all call Trump a fascist. If Trump is a fascist, and he created all of this, then he created Black Lives Matter and Antifa. Ergo, a fascist created the anti-fascist group. Is that correct? I'm confused, Teddy. Help me out.
You've tried to divide us more than any other figure in modern history. And now you want me to stop the violence that you helped create.
For more than 3 months, Wheeler has let his city burn. Every day he has the choice to decide if he will let the cops put an end to the violence. And every day he chooses to let it continue. But now, it's hit a lot closer to home.
Now, this riot coincided with Mayor Wheeler's birthday, and people in the crowd taunted him, bringing balloons and wearing party hats as they called for him to resign.
Well, he is resigning, but it's from his condo building where the rioters marched and lit off the fireworks. Again, let's use some logic because I want to get this straight. Everyone in Portland is a peaceful protester, and it's Trump's fault. But Ted Wheeler has to move out of his $800,000 condo because of the protesting. And he can afford to just move when there are any problems. Everyone else, tough luck. Do you see yet how they really do think you're stupid? I will say, this is Portland, so it's a fire dump of leftist mentality and man buns. I mean, they do want to keep Portland weird, after all. And they really are weird. But there are good and decent people out there who just don't want to see their city burn. And some have lost their lives for it, including Aaron J. Danielson, who was killed by a man who said he is 100% Antifa after he attended a car rally supporting the president. Jay's friends are disgusted by the lies spread by the media.
And it's time that this city hears who he was, because he was a good man that would have helped anyone in any need at any time. And to hear his name being mentioned the way it is absolutely tragic.
A man's life was taken during these protests. He's not the first, and sadly, he won't be the last. We've had innocent children killed during this chaos, and that outrage fades to nothing because it's not the correct narrative. And as I've said a few times already, this is nothing new. It's happened time and time again in cities run by politicians and reported on by media who think that you are stupid and that you will just keep believing them. The choice is yours. Until next time, stay healthy, America. Hey team, you all know it takes a lot of work to get all of this together, and we continue to be demonetized by Facebook and YouTube. If you like hearing truth and common sense with a love for freedom, please join the Patriot Club with a $99 tax-deductible donation, and you'll get this sweet vessel of joy as part of a thank you for joining the Patriot Club. All you have to do is visit patriotclub.us and become a Patriot member today. That's patriotclub.us. You'll be helping us so we can keep helping you.